By the time lunch ended, I followed Olivia to her next class, walking beside her as she rolled herself forward. I could have pushed the wheelchair forward, but I didn't. But I knew I didn't have to, nor would she have wanted me to. Olivia wanted to do things for herself. I was all for it. You lazy bastard. Unfortunately, the two of us stared at them. Okay, let's put on some different music, because things aren't. They're not that sad. Olivia got over being legless in Seattle in a week, I guess, because her friends gave her a nice letter. Let's go with this one, I guess. Olivia wanted to do things herself, and I was all for it. But unfortunately, the two of us stared at the many steps that led to the next floor. Oh, I get what it's going for. But unfortunately, this really feels like this motherfucker. Just make the comic, man. Just make the comic. This is stage instructions. Doesn't belong in writing. Actually, could it work? I'm trying to think if, like, you could make this work. Because the problem is, like, Anon is thinking to himself, why would he interrupt his own thoughts like that? That's so weird. Like, the way I would probably try to do this, if I had to keep the same essence, is they're looking forward. You know, they stop, they're looking forward. And then he's like, but unfortunately, stares. You know, you keep that reveal. But you, the reader, aren't exactly aware what the review is yet. So it's like, they stopped. They stopped. But for what? Oh, it's the stairs. I think that's, like, the best way you can keep it. Because, like, this, pacing-wise, is just goofy. Also, the goofiest part is the twist. The funny part of this joke is stairs. This already mentions those stairs. You literally mention the punchline before the punchline, in a way. Like, that's why this is a visual joke. Also, if you're doing this visually, the best way to do it is to have this section in the top left and that in the bottom right. And if you can't get that right in your fucking description text boxes in a comic, don't make comics, okay? This is basic shit. Is you can use the bubbles to set the tone and also to direct the eye. Because text boxes are usually a distinct color in large flat spaces, they tend to draw the eye. So making them into a diagonal that you follow and then you go, oh, that's the punchline, works a bit better. Anyway, I just really tried to recall a moment if there was an elevator. I don't think this for a moment is really relevant here. I desperately tried to recall if there was an elevator. Again, it's like this motherfucker just needs there to be pauses and breaks and ellipses everywhere. There was an elevator in this building. Hell, in this entire I'm pretty sure there being an elevator in a separate building doesn't help you here, and only to come up blank. Looking at Olivia, she'll be like, okay, this is 2017-ish, right? How the fuck are there schools still out there with... How did this not come up any earlier? Again. This feels like something a pediatrician or something should have brought up earlier. Gotta plant that leg in the backyard. Water it every day. Starting a PMC operating on from an oil platform in international waters helps with losing. Yeah, that's a good way to get rid of it. If you don't want too many limbs, that's how you do it. Maybe I can try. Anon! Okay. I don't know the big problem with this. You want to know the big problem with this? Anon has already lifted up Olivia onto his shoulder and carried her no problem. The story has, at a separate moment, when they were chasing after Nasser leaving in the car, established that this is a thing Anon can do. This should not be a problem. Outside of the Olivia can't do it herself, which I hope they're going to zoom in on, because that's the actual problem in the scene. Not the logistics, it's the fact she can't do it alone. Get a load of this guy. I think schools are funding. Yeah, I know, they fund themselves with property taxes for some stupid-ass reason. As we all know, elevators are moving property, so hard to tax. Maybe I could try. She wheeled forward, pressing up against the staircase, and actually managed to make it up a few steps with the sheer strength. I don't think you can actually reasonably do that. Knowing what I know about wheelchairs, you have to pull yourself up. Pushing is just not gonna happen, buddy. Pushing against the wheels. Actually, maybe you could make it work if you went backwards and you pulled up. Because, you know, the problem is that when you're pushing downwards and you're nailing yourself to the ground, you're pushing into the stairs. But if you go backwards and you pull up, then maybe the motion works a bit more, you know, you got the right lever action. I don't know if that's how that would work, but I feel it would work better than this. Especially since, in case you didn't know, wheelchairs in the front have little tiny fucking wheels that are for support and steering that do not go upstairs because they are like 2 inches tall. Only for a wheelchair to slip on the 6th step and she falls way back down and then broke every limb. Good job, Olivia. That's why you're paraplegic. Quadriplegic. Her eyes widening, she began to fall back. Luckily, I was there. I mean, catching a wheelchair is pretty tough. Just putting that down there. I pushed the wheelchair back upright before it tilted any further. Thanks, that's right. Just hold on tight. And there we go. Okay, but are we... I think I'm going to speedrun through this because, again, my thing is, this scene exists to establish that Olivia hates being a burden. This is the burden scene, where the burden stuff happens. We're skipping the rest. Fucking irrelevant. Cute stuff. Don't care. Not the plot. Look at my own claws. Oh man, Anna is so buff. He's able to lift her up, and the chair. As someone who has wheelchairs are not that heavy, but like, something about lifting someone that's in it, just not the same as lifting a person. I don't know, the grip's different. But then again, the people that I had in wheelchairs are like in those really complicated ones that were pretty sturdy. Compared to, you know, just like the frame that Olivia seems to have, a very basic one. I like how Olivia... Never mind. Like exercises. You know... Those leg exercises. I mean, it's because it's from the knee down, or I don't know if it's including the knee or not, but you know. Helping up the stairs again. This is the actual plot that's supposed to happen right now, because otherwise it's just dumb fluff, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, you set up the drama and then you don't execute. You're just doing this to make her. Like, if you don't use Olivia's fucking legs stopping to work, like, her dealing with that shit, which, again, seems to be an extension of what happened to kill her parents, this massive fucking thing, and all you're doing with it is so that she is... What's the term again? To pull her in line, but like a fancier word for that. If the only reason you're doing this is so that she's like she is in Wani Gator, fuck you, you goddamn clueless, gormless fucking moron! That's so rude to people with disabilities, to go like, oh, well, you know, it's because she's like that in the game. Everything else is irrelevant. Like, the plot, the interesting element here is not just this, but, like, she's going to meet Nasser eventually. And, like, oh, Nasser, I lost my legs, and you're a runner guy. So, you know, that's an interesting clash. Like, he likes running. She doesn't have... That's the plot you're establishing. That's the core thing that people are going to be thinking about. Like me. And you haven't done anything. So what do I got? But to look for something. Anyway, someone's bothering me. They want fashion advice. Oh, to be specific, they want swatch suggestions. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this cat? It's so round! Helping up the stairs, just like in first grade. How do you even remember? Because Anon's brain was already apparently that of an adult, so he doesn't have memory issues. Also, I like how she points this out, but it's like, Olivia, you do know you're talking about... never mind. It's good to see... Hell yeah, okay, thank fuck. Both of us... Okay, they're 16. We have an age. We have an age. Safi says, trying his best not to sound weird about it. Controversy held an important looking award. Oh, God. So we're just we're just we're just doing this then. We're just doing this then. Again, hold on. I'm gonna look at something. Okay, so this technically released back when Wanigator was just the demo, to 2023, so before it released. But remember, the reason Olivia in Wani is like upset about the whole leg thing, about the whole like painting thing, is not just it's Ben's involvement is key to how that plays out because Ben creates the fracture through which she can project the idea that she doesn't deserve it. If Ben wasn't doing it, she wouldn't necessarily assume that stuff. Ben created the mental image and the aura and the cloud. Ben forced this poor disabled person image onto her. And that's part of what makes that story work so well, is that he put it out and she just made it her own. She forced it onto herself the rest of the way. And that's something that this guy is just like, no, she just develops the insecurities herself, which is fair. But Olivia, you were already a good artist before then. We've established that by miles. Like, she has many years of being a good artist. Like, it doesn't work as well then. Because that's why Olivia in Wani works, because she's always been disabled. As far as we know, that's always been the case. So we don't go like, okay, but before this moment, people still thought you were incredible with art. Like, even it's like a weird thing to get hung up on. I get where it's coming from. I can actually see it happening as like a thing of, oh, well, she's dealing with all this shit and she's projecting, like similar to how Olivia in Wani pulls Ben's projections onto herself. I'm just saying it could work, but this guy isn't smart enough for that. I know that by now. He's not smart enough to know you can do that. If he does it, it's by sheer accident. But you can do it. God damn it, someone's asking for writing, for like art advice, and I'm trying to help, but I don't know what to do. Fuck. Giving advice. Color swatches for character designs. Anyway, Olivia's upset about her award because we're going there. No, it has nothing to do with any. Okay, if we're going this way, you need to have Olivia doubt her friends and family, okay? Because otherwise, it's like, okay, Olivia, but don't you trust us? Because we told you this before this happened. Like, at that point, you're making this about this friction. There's the plot. For fuck's sake, just have a plot happen already. And stick to it, instead of just going, this will be an interesting story, and then, whoop, just walking out of the room. That's what I thought. It was in the middle of 10th grade, both of us when I was 16, as I watched her exit the class. I'd like to point out that since they're 16, they're like freshmen or sophomores, which is really fucking fast. A frown on her face as she held an important-looking award. Also, this implies a bunch of shit has happened since then. This move to Volcano High has taken some time. I mean, it probably would take some time, wouldn't it? Before I could ask what it was, she placed it into a bag, zipping it up. Shouldn't you know? Hasn't she talked about this at all? I blink. She's mentioned her art whatever. I blink. About to ask what it was before. I mean, I guess to him it's been like a large amount of time. To us, it's been like a couple of pages. Some award. Because my art was good, because... Veronica looked at her legs, not even needing to finish what she... Yes! Then why are you finishing the thought, Anon? Why don't cut this? because then it's subtle. Then it looks like you have some fucking confidence in your fucking visual writing. Dingus? Like, you can't have a character say... You just can't. If it goes unspoken, don't say it. Anyway, someone should have gotten this. Someone else should have gotten this, not me. I didn't even put that much effort in this time. Again, make this work. Do you know how you could also make this work? You have Olivia be the POV character, and you go to the judging of the contest, and she's there, and the artist looks at her a lot, and is like, oh man, look at that wheelchair. She doesn't have to say it, but she looks at Olivia a lot. He's noticing that she's in a wheelchair, going like, You know, looking a little too long, looking uncomfortably long. It's like, oh man, she's judging me for my wheelchair? Like, it doesn't even have to be that they're actually judging her. Just the implication that the wheelchair takes the predominant position in that analysis. That short fucking 5-minute scene is all you need to make this moment work a little better. For fuck's sake, Olivia, please, just say it, because we didn't have Anon's fucking telescopic eyes. Yeah, you can't have Ben happen because Anon would just kick the shit out of him. Yeah, okay. And Aaron just brought up a really fun one. Yeah, she had a migraine and brain damage. Like, don't sugarcoat it. She had brain damage. It would be interesting if she has to relearn how to paint to some extent. Not necessarily fail, but because she had to go on this road of recuperation, no matter how short it is, she doubts herself now because she had to relearn it. She can't be as good as she was back then. That took years. She can't relearn that in a month. That is enough to make this feel real. Now it just feels like she's being a pedantic bitch after, you know, Anon sitting there listening to emitting Linkin Park, smoking a cigarette, going, the life is so unfair, as everyone hugs Olivia. Like, fuck you, man. Come on. Oh, you're so close. How does this man at jet ski speeds avoid every single possible interesting plot point? Fucking artisanally avoiding the points. I'm being reminded that the free art program for Linux is called fucking GIMP. Little Gator timeline. Little Gator? Oh no. Senator, why must you remind me of that comic? You cruel man. Sure about that? Olivia rolled her eyes, bringing out a large piece of paper and rolled to show it to be. It looked nice, but incredibly simplistic. Just the bare bones forest landscape. Why'd you do it? Oh, there you go. Okay, this is fine. Kind of weird, but okay. Like, Olivia seemed to be very passionate about art. Why is she fucking up on purpose? I made it look bad on purpose. Still won the class award for the quarter. Again, this feels a bit cynical and skeptical for no reason, considering the environment she grew up in. Like, I can kind of see this happening to someone who's a bit more doubtful, but remember, she's in a really supportive environment. I don't know. I guess it works. Little Gator is the mod, not that... Oh. Little Gator is a cute-ass fucking video game. That's all. That's the one I'm gonna be thinking about. I mean, they did a good one. I don't know, like, how long have you been doing art at this point? Professionally, like, trying to actually go somewhere? Because, again... Like, this is why you make Olivia the POV. Or you use an omniscient third-person narrator. Because we need to know Olivia's doing this. Otherwise, it's like, oh, you have to backfill your explanation on this? Why not start off with that? You can start off with that, because that's the series of events. Again, Anon's not the protagonist, but it keeps pretending he is. He's the least interesting character here. Get out of my fucking story, Anon. Oh, admittedly. Anyway, I'm gonna look bad on purpose. Still won the class award for the quarter. The quarter? You have semesters, not. I won the class award for the fiscal quarter. I just sounded great. No, like if you intentionally made bad art and it's good, fair. But Anon, who is like super nice, says it's bad, then yeah. Obviously something's fucking up. I know, like, the thing about that moment, right, with the whole disabled artist in Wani, is there was always this layer of deniability to it, at least. There was always the sense that maybe it wasn't really about that. Ending 2 kind of throws Soot in that direction, but you could always kind of go, nah, maybe it was just in Olivia's head and Ben wasn't that influential. Maybe. Because, you know, her art is pretty good. She didn't fuck up on purpose, did she? She just made a good painting. There's always that ambiguity. Here they just took it away, so it's a whole different fucking story. The narrative ain't the same. Anyway, this guy keeps wanting art suggestions for his character drawing. 3-pound gummy worm. I don't want to think about that. Why are people posting the 3-pound gummy worm? I don't want to think about that. You know, next time I think you better go this way. I'll just read a little ahead, because apparently that's the answer to a lot of these. It's fine, Olivia. I reassure her, the two of us moving side by side, Olivia rolling as I walked. Why are you emphasizing that at all? Isn't that like... Little Gator is the mod where it's Wani, but everyone is in a special... Fucking doing... What was it called? Kataba Socho again? I'm sorry, what? What? Hold on. What? Safi has been successfully dismantled, I guess. That was Toku. Why does this have a fucking art budget? Jesus Christ, this art. What? Acid reflux. What the hell are these mods? Damien does get sidelined. 30 minutes. Dang. Little Gator. What? Doll got sucking on Da Binky in Chicago may face life in prison? What? This isn't the one, right? This mod is the Puppet Pals of Wani. Now that's a big fucking praise. That's a big one. Is it not on here then? No homo. God dang it. I think it's very telling that like the mods are, let's have a serious talk, and the other one is I don't think it's on here. Unless it's the little gator, but you said there's a little gator, and I'm very stickler on that. Also, it has no screenshots, so I have no fucking clue. People say it doesn't even work. Whatever, let's move on. Rin and Olivia for Best Painter Lady. 11 award to give out. Da Binky. I want Da Binky. You can You can at least tell me what's on your mind before we find Mom and Dad. I think it's self-evident. Anon, shouldn't you be smarter than this at this point? Didn't know they changed the name. Huh. A few moments of silence passed as we made our way down the hallway. I mean, I often complain about this guy pausing too much, but this is a sensible place to do it, since Anon's having a straightforward conversation, so her pausing says something. It's just, listen, don't get me wrong, I still love art. But now I'm coming to realize that my art's not getting the award. It's my disability. How long have you been disabled again? And that's, We approach the staircase, Olivia pausing at the top to prepare as I get the position. Okay, so she's upset about winning awards. Shouldn't she also be upset about Anon, having to fucking literally carry her down the stairs and up again? Isn't that the same fucking problem? I stepped up onto the anti-tip bar. Oh, for the wheelchair. I thought it was on the stairs. Using my other leg to push us forward. What? Then Olivia and I got right down the stairs, wheelchair rattling as both nonchalantly stared forward. Reaching the bottom with a bump as Olivia and me began wheeling us forward. And up we're upstairs, but any time we had to get somewhere that didn't require stairs, Olivia would drive me. She insisted on doing it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you fucking weirdos. Besides, Olivia could gain some real speed when she wanted to. Weren't you implied to be pretty fast yourself, buddy? Well, I just want to get recognition for my art. Something I actually love doing. It's that, Olivia continued as she rolled us down the hallway. The next few words spoken in a quiet voice. Is that too much to ask for? I could understand where she was coming from, but I had no answer for it. This was Olivia's... Jesus. Things are fucking just going places all of a sudden. Wait, I need to have a plot. Just steal the one from the game. That isn't out yet. This was Olivia's battle. I pray that it wouldn't be like that for the rest of her life. Well, if you're going for ending 2, you just might. Arrived at the school office. The school office? This is shown in... what? Oh, at the principal's office, I guess. Your parents are talking to the principal. Over the past couple of months, my parents have been petitioning to make some parts of the school more accessible for Olivia and the potential future paraplegic student. I like how this hasn't come up before. Olivia is the first. She will blaze a trail and break many kneecaps to make more paraplegic students. But it had pretty much been an uphill battle. Not because the school refused to do it, but literally because they could not. The buildings were old, so elevators were pretty much a no-go. Or it would take years to build and renovate. Okay, I don't know what to tell you, buddy, but you... I know a guy, right? And he has to deal with a lot of, old European buildings. And he told me up front, yeah, you just cut out a part of the building and you just slap something in there. If it's not a monument, it's the best you can do. You just build an elevator that's separate from the rest of the building. Which works in European buildings because they're pretty short. You can just slap in a little baby elevator for 3 floors. Actually, I don't think you need elevators in buildings that are less than 3 floors. No, 4. There's a limit at 4 or 5 or something, where you need one. I think for office buildings it's different. Anyway, point is, this isn't as big of a thing as they make it out to be, especially if they're cheap asses and just make a very temporary ramp or something stupid. I'm sure they can figure something out. Hell, just fucking talk to someone who knows this. Why are your parents doing this instead of someone who knows how this logistically works out? Someone who might actually have some financial insight. Have that person do it for you. Just go, hey, and just let them sort it out. I'm pretty sure you got someone who handles oh, there's needs for special students. We have a guy who says that that's too expensive, and he knows it's too expensive because he knows it's expensive. If you're gonna say no, have a guy that can tell you no. Yeah, they just fucking slap a couple of concrete slabs together, and bada boom, bada bing, it's a house now. I know they have a fancy name, but I forgot what it was. Anyway, apparently your parents are the only one who give a shit. Despite everyone showing up to say, Olivia, hey, you're back in school, no one can give a shit enough to actually build an elevator. Or a pulley system. Just put in a pulley system. Anon can get some reps. But hey, it's fair. Also, I always got the impression this was a private school for some reason, because it's called private. So, they paid for this shit. They should be flush with cash, and more than willing to appease people and look fancy to recruit more people. Look at us. We have an elevator unlike that public school down the street. Wow, wow. Granted, they'd made some progress and alterations, such as a few minor changes to the cafeteria layout, and a few of the lowest staircases having built-in ramps. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, just pour some fucking concrete on top and you're probably done. Or, you know, just put a big old slab on. There's so many problems you can solve with a slab. About 85% of the school was still pretty much inaccessible for a living unless I was there to help. How the fuck is that much of your school behind stairs? Is it built into a hill? Like, if it's just floors, that's a lot of fucking real estate. That's a big building. Like, isn't it 3 separate buildings on the ground? Like, I don't know, it's just super fucking weird to me that much. I would believe 75. 85 is where it goes too far for me. Because, you know, 75 means, you know, it's 3 floors up there. I guess if it's 3 floors that aren't ground floor, and then, like, a couple of smaller areas that are built weird, I guess you could get 85 of the... That's big, though. That's like, why didn't they just expel her for being inconvenient? An inconvenient truth. Something had to be done, but what? And, get Rainbow to polish up every stair into a smooth... Actually, okay, I say that like you can just build a ramp. The big problem with that on a lot of stairs is they're 45-degree angles, and good fucking luck going up there. The big reason you can't... Let's go with this. The big thing in the way of wheelchairs is center of gravity. If your center of gravity goes behind the wheels, behind the axle of the wheels, you fall backwards. That's how it works. So there's a maximum height you can go. And because everyone's a little bit different and has different wheelchairs, you have to have a pretty shallow slope. And accommodating that is pretty difficult and expensive compared to the 45er that most people tend to be used to. Put a diesel engine in it. We have no rubles for concrete, but we have acquired another comrade. He is prisoner from nearby gulag. His job, until he gets free from prison, is to lift you up and down stairs. A simple, effective solution. Wait a minute, this is America. Oh, I'm sorry. He is a prisoner from the local prison system. We pay him 5 cents a day to do this. And he's like, I was arrested for weed crimes, although they never found the weed. I love the prison system. I love me some slaves. Anon, why are you talking like Inko? Well, you know, I'm finally in a middle-class family. I wanted to know what it was like. How about we start West Coast kicking it? And on, Olivia. Ready to go home? We both nod, making our way to the exit. 11th grade. Jesus, we're just jumping. How the... So, Olivia is just in this school where shit just absolutely sucks ass. For years. Damn. Just buy her a fucking helicopter. Buy her a tiny gyrocopter. Or a little jetpack at this point, my man. Get her some robot spider legs that can climb up those stairs. Couldn't they get away? Why can't school install a wheelchair elevator? It's hard to do in your house, but I imagine the school has space for that. Those stairs are usually pretty wide. I'm just saying. It's at this point, isn't Olivia like sick and fucking tired of this bullshit? Tonight's dinner, shrimp jambalaya. Oh man, I do love jambalaya. I do love jambalaya.